In the summer of 2014, a future NFL superstar decided to carry out his dream of playing Division I football. But little did he know, this would be the start of something legendary.
Ever since I was a kid, I knew what I wanted to do. When I was a first grader, I wasn't allowed to play football yet. So my brother, who was in third grade at the time, I got to go to his practices, and that's when I fell in love with football. I started playing second grade and been playing ever since. I did not always play DN. I played middle linebacker all the way up into my senior year of high school. And then I just grew into a defensive end body, so I feel like it translated.
However, the path for Maxx Crosby wasn't as easy as some of you may think. For the majority of his childhood, he was a full-time linebacker until he hit his growth spurt. And at that point, he had to relearn a whole new position. But that's the thing about Maxx Crosby. It was never about the pure talent that he was born with, but more about the work ethic, the grind, the consistency, paying off, and in this case, it did. Coming out of high school, Maxx Crosby was a 2-star recruit, and according to 247 Sports, he was ranked as the 132nd best defensive end in the entire class. But more insanely enough, wasn't even a top 3,000 player in 2015. Maxx Crosby also only had one offer out of high school, and that was Eastern Michigan. And on July 26, 2014, Maxx Crosby made it official when he committed to Eastern Michigan, and this is where things got real. During his freshman season at Eastern Michigan, Maxx was initially the 11th on the depth chart for defensive ends, but as the team started practicing, they had no choice but to play him. And one thing led to another, and boom, junior year, he broke out as their star player, recording 57 tackles, 11 sacks, and 4 forced fumbles. And from this point on, NFL scouts were locked in. The 2-star recruit has already seemed to defy all odds. And even at the NFL Draft Combine, he ranked in the top 10 of almost every single category. Production score, athleticism score was best out of all defensive ends and edge rushers. And overall, with the total score, 7th among all defensive ends, he had a really good couple of days at the Combine. But still, scouts everywhere thought he would be a 6th, maybe even a 7th round draft pick, until one team called early.
Hello?
Yes, Max there.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Max, this is John Gruden with the Oakland Raiders. How's it going?
It's going great, Coach.
Hey, I got to get after Mahomes, man. We got to get after Phillip Rivers, man. This is a tough division. Are you that guy number 92 that's raising hell?
Yes, sir. I'm ready. Yes,
will you come out? Hey, will you come out here?
Yes, sir. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm the guy. I promise.
All right, great. I'm going to turn the card in. I'm going to make you an Oakland Raider, and I want you to help me now. We got Cleveland Farrell in the first round. I'm getting Mad Maxx Crosby in the 4th round, and I'm expecting you to come in here and lead the league in effort, brother.
Since that day when the Raiders drafted Maxx Crosby on April 27th of 2019, he has been one of the best, if not the best, defensive end in all of football, totaling over 320 total tackles, 52 sacks, 9 forced fumbles, 3 fumble recoveries, and 69 run stuffs. Maxx Crosby did it. From a 2-star recruit, ranked not within the top 3,000 of his class, and just one offer out of high school, to the NFL Draft Day steal, but more importantly, a potential NFL Hall of Famer. But who are the 9 defensive ends drafted before Maxx Crosby, and where are they now? Let's take a closer look. But before we deep dive into that, do me a big favor, hit the like button if you're enjoying the video so far. But more importantly, subscribe to the channel if you're new. It is free, it doesn't cost anything, and we will be covering the Raiders and the rest of the NFL throughout the entirety of not only training camp, but preseason, regular season, breaking down film, having long-term videos like this. Make sure you guys join the family. And with that being said, let's dive right into the video. Now, I also want to let you guys know that this is not me saying Maxx Crosby is better than all of these players. Quite frankly, all we're doing is looking at who was drafted before him and seeing where they are now. So don't think that I'm saying Maxx is better than all of these players. with that being said, with the second pick of the 2019 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers decided to pick up Nick Bosa. Now, Nick Bosa has been an extremely productive defensive end throughout his career so far, including missing the entire 2020 season, but still putting up 53.5 sacks, 10 forced fumbles, 3 fumble recoveries, as well as having 33.5 run stuffs. Now, the outside looking in, it seems like Nick Bosa is, quite frankly, the more productive edge rusher. But Maxx Crosby brings more versatility. In terms of the run stuffing ability, Maxx Crosby has been really, really good. Over the past 2 seasons, combining for 36.5 run stuffs is insane. Now, again, I'm not saying Maxx Crosby is the better player. They're both really, really good. But Nick Bosa, his career has gone pretty well so far. And then, with the 4th pick overall of the 2019 NFL Draft, Mike Mayock and the Oakland Raiders decided to take Clelin Ferrell, an absolute winner in college, but didn't really translate onto the NFL football field. Not saying that he's been terrible, but he definitely hasn't lived up to that number 4 overall pick. Played in Oakland in 1 season, they then moved to Las Vegas, where he stayed for 3 more seasons, and then decided to leave in free agency to the San Francisco 49ers, where, he's always been a relatively good role player off the bench. Behind Chase Young, behind a guy like Nick Bosa, he was okay. And now, most recently signed with the Washington Commanders this offseason. I'm not saying he's a complete bust, but the Raiders definitely could have done a little bit better. Maxx Crosby is most definitely the better player. And with the 16th pick of the 2019 NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers decided to take edge rusher Brian Burns. Now, Brian Burns, just like Nick Bosa, has been extremely productive. And over the last 4 seasons, or even like 3 seasons, he has been one of the most talked about guys in the league in terms of trading, right? A lot of teams have wanted to trade for Brian Burns, and most recently has just gotten a deal where he went to the New York Giants. But over his career so far, has tallied up over 46 sacks, 8 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries, as well as 34.5 run stuffs as well. Another player who is an extremely good player and has done a really good job so far being productive in his career. Now, would I say he's better than Maxx Crosby? This one is really close, but in my opinion, I'm still taking Maxx Crosby all day. And with the 26th overall pick of the first round of the 2019 NFL Draft, the Washington Commanders decided to select Montez Sweat. Now again, Montez Sweat is another productive edge rusher and has been throughout his career so far. And very similar to Brian Burns, has been someone talked about on the trade market pretty much ever since he landed in Washington. But most recently in 2023 was traded to the Chicago Bears for a pretty big haul compared to his running mate Chase Young. Now, throughout his career so far, has 41.5 sacks, 10 forced fumbles, as well as 31.5 run stuffs. And if you compare him over to Maxx Crosby, it seems like Maxx Crosby is, or has been, just a little bit more productive. But again, Montez Sweat is not a bad player at all. He's actually been pretty good throughout his career. Now, this is where things start to get interesting. With the 29th overall pick of the first round in 2019, the Seattle Seahawks selected LJ Collier, who has had a very injury-riddled career so far, and people are really starting to claim him as a bust. After playing 4 seasons with the Seattle Seahawks, he was then signed to the Arizona Cardinals in free agency, where he was out for the season after the first game. And most notably, has just re-signed again to the Arizona Cardinals, where he will try to prove that he belongs in the NFL. But if you ask me, Maxx Crosby is the better player. In the 3rd round of the 2019 NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals decided to select Zack Allen. Again, probably a big mistake over Maxx Crosby. However, he's not as bad as LJ Collier. He has actually had a relatively productive role off the bench, and even as a starter, he's been relatively productive. Over his career so far, has over 198 tackles, 16.5 sacks, a forced fumble, 3 fumble recoveries, an interception, as well as 35 run stuff. So yes, maybe he's not as good as Maxx Crosby, but still a decent little find there in the 3rd round for the Arizona Cardinals. But now is most recently signed with the Denver Broncos, where he actually is coming off a really good season as a starter for them. A couple of picks later, the New England Patriots decided to take Chase Winovich out of Michigan with the 77th pick overall in the 2019 NFL Draft. And Chase Winovich's career started off pretty well when he had back-to-back seasons with 5.5 sacks for the New England Patriots. 2021 came around, and things started to really go downhill from there. He went on to play with the Cleveland Browns in 2022 when he was traded for, I believe, Pierre Strong Jr., if I'm not mistaken. Had 20 tackles, 14 solo, and then going into 2023, played with the Miami Dolphins for just 3 games before being released. And now, Chase Winovich has announced his retirement from the NFL and is no longer playing football. And with the 85th overall pick of the 2019 NFL Draft, the Baltimore Ravens selected Jaylen Ferguson. Now, Jaylen Ferguson's career started off pretty well when he was a really good depth piece for the Baltimore Ravens, and things just started to pick up really well for him until one unfortunate day back in June 2021 where he overdosed and sadly passed away. Rest in peace to Jaylen Ferguson. I thought he was going to be a really good player in the NFL, and he was going to be. Sadly, he's not with us anymore, so please put an RIP in the comment section down below, man. The future was so bright for him, and I wish nothing but the best for his family and friends going forward. And with the 95th pick of the 3rd round, and the last but not least player drafted before Maxx Crosby, the Giants decided to select Oceane Exum with the 95th overall draft selection. Now, Exum started off his career in 2019, where he actually had a really good season with 4.5 sacks. As a rookie, it's not too bad at all. In 2020, missed a lot of games, only played in 4. 2021, same thing, missed some games, played in 10. And then 2022, actually played the entire of the season, or pretty much the entire of the season. Got 2 sacks, a forced fumble. But 2023, the injury bug came back. Missed another year, and now, most notably, he has signed a deal with the New England Patriots. Now, obviously, we look back at all the players drafted before Maxx Crosby. I don't think Oceane Exum is one of them who is better than Max by any means necessary. I think it is extremely fair to say that Maxx Crosby is one of the best defensive ends in his draft class, if he's not already number 1. Obviously, there's Nick Bosa, there's Brian Burns, there's Montez Sweat, and then there's a couple of other guys like the Cleveland Ferals, who, Las Vegas drafted themselves, LJ Collier, who's dealt with injury bugs, Zack Allen, who's actually been a very productive starter and bench player throughout his career so far, Chase Winovich, who is now retired, Jaylen Ferguson, who is unfortunately no longer with us. Again, prayer emoji in the chat, RIP to Jaylen Ferguson. Oceane Exum, who has just signed with the New England Patriots, but as well will not be a starter, most likely. And then you even have the guys behind Maxx Crosby with Anthony Nelson and Austin Bryant and John Kaminsky, Sharif Miller, Joe Jackson, Sutton Smith, Jerry Green. None of them have been as good or even close to good to Maxx Crosby. Let me know in the comments down below, do you think Maxx Crosby is the best defensive end in this draft class, or would you rank him at number 2 or 3, or where would you put him? Let me know in the comments down below. Hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, join the family. It is free, it doesn't cost anything. If you guys have liked this video so far, make sure you guys join the family. Also, go check out the brand new Aidan O'Connell video that we just dropped the other day, and we break down his entire past, present, future. We break down everything. So make sure you guys go check out that. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next update. Peace.